Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is 2012, and we're going to talk about 12-21-12, hopefully until 12-21-12, but not without breaks. That is, hopefully, we'll be on weekly until December 21st, 2012. Enjoy. Your cable boxes and computers have microphones in them. Your cell phones, while hung up, are microphones. All cell phone activities are recorded. They can hear us whisper. Cameras everywhere, and soon your money will have RFID technology and will be traceable. They're putting 80 satellites in space and will track everyone going in and out of a building. Welcome to 2012, the production. The production that I jeopardized my life and social status to bring to you. I'm going to take the time to promote EternityJumper.com. A nothing to buy, nothing to sell, no ads, scripture explaining scripture study guide on the creation, flood, and day of the Lord, which I'm committed to offer at no cost. That's EternityJumper.com. ETERN as in Nancy, ITYJUM as in Michael, PER.com. All one word, all lowercasing. Check back with the site from time to time. More treasures will be added. Enjoy. We are in ancient technology. Whenever you have to build something, it is already outdated in ancient technology. If you really would like high technology, open the Holy Bible, which is real high technology. Try talking through a burning bush that is not consumed. That, ladies and gentlemen, and those of you who aren't ladies and gentlemen, is real high technology. And ladies and gentlemen, this show is a relaxed show, and we're here. The purpose of the show is to discuss the times and leading up to the end of the Mayan calendar, and also prophecies that have been given by other peoples and cultures on the times that we live in leading up to the end of the Mayan calendar. And we're going to begin today by reading on the white buffalo calf woman. And this is from kstrom.net. And it is white buffalo calf woman brings the first pipe as told by Joseph Chasing Horse. We Lakota people have a prophecy about the white buffalo calf. How that prophecy originated was that we have a sacred bundle, a sacred peace pipe, that was brought to us about 2,000 years ago by what we know as the white buffalo calf woman. The story goes that she appeared to two warriors at that time. These two warriors were out hunting buffalo, hunting for food in the sacred Black Hills of South Dakota. And they saw a big body coming toward them, and they saw that it was a white buffalo calf. As it came closer to them, it turned into a beautiful young Indian girl. That time, one of the warriors thought bad in his mind, and so the young girl told him to step forward. And when he did step forward, a black cloud came over his body. And when the black cloud disappeared, the warrior who had bad thoughts was left with no flesh or blood on his bones. The other warrior kneeled and began to pray. And when he prayed, the white buffalo calf, who was now an Indian girl, told him to go back to his people and warn them that in 4 days she was going to bring a sacred bundle. So the warrior did as he was told. He went back to his people, and he gathered all the elders and all the leaders and all the people in a circle and told them that what she had instructed him to do. And sure enough, just as she said she would, on the fourth day she came. They say a cloud came down from the sky, and off the cloud stepped a white buffalo calf. As it rolled onto the earth, the calf stood up and became this beautiful young woman who was carrying the sacred bundle in her hand. As she entered into the circle of the nation, she sang a sacred song and took the sacred bundle to the people who were there to take of her. She spent 4 days among our people and taught them about the sacred bundle, the meaning of it. She taught them 7 sacred ceremonies. One of them was the sweat lodge, or the purification ceremony. One of them was the naming ceremony, child naming. The third was the healing ceremony. The fourth one was the making of relatives, or the adoption ceremony. The fifth one was the marriage ceremony. The sixth was the vision quest. The seventh was the Sundance ceremony, the people's ceremony for all of the nation. She brought us these 7 sacred ceremonies and taught our people the songs and the traditional ways. And she instructed our people that as long as we performed these ceremonies, we would always remain caretakers and guardians of sacred land. She told us that as long as we took care of it and respected it, She taught us that as long as we took care of it and respected it, that our people would never die and would always live. When she was done teaching our people, she left the way she came. She went out of the circle, and as she was leaving, she turned and told our people that she would return one day for the sacred bundle. And she left the sacred bundle, which we still have to this very day. The sacred bundle is known as the white buffalo calf pipe because it was brought by the white buffalo calf woman. It is kept in a sacred place, green grass, on the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation in South Dakota. It's kept by a man who is known as the keeper of the white buffalo calf pipe, Arvo Looking Horse. When white buffalo calf woman promised to return again, she made some prophecies at that time. One of those prophecies was that the birth of a white buffalo calf would be a sign that it would be near the time when she would return again to purify the world. What she meant by that was that she would bring back harmony again and balance spiritually. No matter what happens to Miracle in the coming months and years, Joseph Chasing Horse says the birth is a sign from the Great Spirit, and the ensuing age of harmony and balance it represents cannot be revoked. That doesn't mean, of course, that the severe trials Native Americans have endured since the arrival of Europeans on these shores are over. Indeed, the Lakota Nation mounted the longest court case in U.S. history in an unsuccessful effort to regain control of the Black Hills, the sacred land on which the white buffalo calf woman appeared 2,000 years ago. Still, despite their ongoing struggles, Native Americans are heartened by the appearance of a white buffalo in Janesville and have hoped for a harmonious and prosperous future. Mention that we are praying. Many of the medicine people, the spiritual leaders, the elders are praying for the world, says Joseph Chasing Horse. We are praying that mankind does wake up and think about the future. For we haven't just inherited this earth from our ancestors, but we are borrowing it from our unborn children. And ladies and gentlemen, this is on this is the miracle that's spoken of in this article. And again, that's from kstrom.net, ladies and gentlemen. And it's speaking of the prophecy of the white buffalo calf woman. Now, I'm going to continue reading from kstrom.net, and I'm going to read on this white calf, on this white buffalo, which has been born, ladies and gentlemen. And I will read from, again, kstrom.net. News of the calf spread quickly through the Native American community because its birth fulfilled a 2,000-year-old prophecy of Northern Plains Indians. Joseph Chasing Horse, traditional leader of the Lakota Nation, explains that 2,000 years ago, a young woman who first appeared in the shape of a white buffalo gave the Lakotas' ancestors a sacred pipe and sacred ceremonies and made them guardians of the Black Hills. Before leaving, she also prophesied that one day she would return to purify the world, bringing back spiritual balance and harmony. The birth of a white buffalo calf would be a sign that her return was at hand. And this is an article, ladies and gentlemen, and for those of you who aren't ladies and gentlemen, this is an article concerning the white buffalo that has been born, and we will continue on. Owen Mike, who's in line to succeed his 90-year-old father, Thomas, as head of the Ho-Chunk Winnebago Buffalo Clan, says his people have a slightly different interpretation of the white calf's significance. He adds, however, that the Ho-Chunk version of the prophecy also stresses the return of harmony, both in nature and among all peoples. It's more of a blessing from the Great Spirit, Mike explains. It's a sign. This white buffalo is showing us that everything is going to be okay. But even if other white buffalo have been born in modern times, Miracle holds special significance for Native Americans. She's female, and that bundle that sired her died. She's female, and that bull that sired her died, just as in the prophecy. And while recent visitors to Hyder Farm are sometimes disappointed that the calf's head has turned brown and its body is now a silvery tan, versions of the prophecy state that the white buffalo calf would change colors 4 times, thus signifying the colors of the 4 peoples she would unify: black, red, yellow, and white. And so that's briefly on the white buffalo calf woman prophecy, ladies and gentlemen. And let's see. Let's check the ancient texts and the ancient technology. And the ancient technology is moving correctly. We have the digitals moving. We have the levers switching. We have the knobs turning. And ladies and gentlemen, the ancient technology is working quite well. Now again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a relaxed show, a relaxed production. It's about the times leading up to the end of the Mayan calendar and various prophecies and of cultures and peoples that of these times leading up to the end of the Mayan calendar and of these times that we live in today. And we've studied on Edgar Cayce prophecies. We've studied on Nostradamus. We've studied Mayan calendar, Aztec calendar. We've studied Egyptian prophecies. And ladies and gentlemen, we will continue on with the Native American prophecies. And again, now this is from 2012 endofdays.org. And it's Native American prophecy. American Indians are a diverse ethnic group. Their languages, customs, social systems vary greatly. One common characteristic found in many Indian nations was an affinity to the spiritual side of life. Out of this came Mayan prophecies. One of the most fascinating set of prophecies comes out of the Hopi Nation, located in the southwestern United States. Many prophecies foretold of the Hopi by the Hopi appear to have come true. Some of these are: the fourth world shall end soon, and the fifth world will begin. This the elders everywhere know. The signs over many years have been fulfilled, and so few are left. This is the first sign. We are told of the coming of the white-skinned men, like Pahana, but not living like Pahana men, who took the land that was not theirs, and men who struck their enemies with thunder. This is the second sign. Our lands will see the coming of spinning wheels, filled with voices. In his youth, my father saw this prophecy come true with his eyes. The white men bring their families in wagons across the prairies. The white men bringing their families in wagons across the prairies. This is the third sign. A strange beast like a buffalo, but with great long horns, will overrun the land in large numbers. These white feathers saw with his eyes the coming of the white man's cattle. This is the fourth sign. The land will be crossed by snakes of iron. This is the fifth sign. The land shall be crisscrossed by a giant spider's web. This is the sixth sign. The land shall be crisscrossed with rivers of stone that make pictures in the sun. This is the seventh sign. You will hear of the sea turning black, and many living things dying because of it. This is the eighth sign. You will see many youth who wear their hair long like my people come and join the tribal nations to learn their ways and wisdom. And this is the ninth and last sign. You will hear of a dwelling place in the heavens above the earth that shall fall with a great crash. It will appear as a blue star. Very soon after this, the ceremonies of my people will cease. These are the signs that great destruction is coming. The world shall rock to and fro. The white men will battle against other people in other lands, with those who possess the first light of wisdom. There will be many columns of smoke and fire, such as White Feather has seen the white men make in the deserts not far from here. Only those which come will cause disease and a great dying. Overall, the theme of Hopi prophecy is that the earth is going to soon go through a great purification, and that humanity can make the decision as to how extreme this purification will be. Their belief is that the world goes through a period of destruction and renewal, and that we are about to enter into a new age, the fifth world, or sixth, depending on the source. Okay, very good, ladies and gentlemen. That's from 2012, endofdays.org. And let's check the ancient technology. And the ancient technology is working correctly. The digitals are moving, the knobs are turning, the levers are switching. And ladies and gentlemen, the technology is working fine. And we will continue on, ladies and gentlemen. And now we mentioned that we went through some other studies, ladies and gentlemen, and we're gonna go over what is the 2012 Egyptians' predictions connection with Mayan. And this is from December 2012, endofworld.com. And it is, what is the 2012 Egyptians' predictions connection with Mayan? Many researchers from around the world have been trying to figure out if the December 2012 doomsday prediction is in sync with predictions made by the Egyptians about a similar event that will take place in 2012. The Egyptians' predictions state that a worldwide catastrophe is bound to take place in 2012. In addition to this, the ancient Egyptians have stated in some of their books that such an event has already occurred previously some centuries ago. The Egyptians had predicted such an event to occur in 9792 BC. However, proof of what exactly occurred in that year is not clear. There are two essential books that play a key role in finding out more about the Egyptian doomsday predictions. These books are known as the Book of the Dead and the Qumran Bible. The Egyptians have been known to be experts in astronomy since centuries. Many Egyptians, philosophers, and astronomers have been involved in studying the stars and the other components of the sky to determine and predict events of the future. In the year 9792 BC, some peculiar occurrences created panic among the astronomers. This event was the retrograde movement of Venus through the constellation of Orion. This event is said to happen only two times, the first being in 9792 BC and the second predicted to be in 2012 AD. The position of the Earth's pole precession is the same on both these dates. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. The position of the Earth's pole precession is the same on both these dates. The constellation Orion is of great significance to anyone who is involved in Egyptian astronomy. The Orion constellation represents the god Osiris in the sky. Osiris is known as the god of the afterlife and the dead. Owing to Venus moving in retrograde of the Orion constellation in 9792 BC, the sun rose to a new horizon which made way for two sunsets and two sunrises. Such an event can only take place if there is a shift in the poles of the Earth. If this event actually had taken place, then the living beings on Earth would have suffered some consequences because of the shift of the poles of the Earth. The Egyptian predictions for 2012 are similar to those that are predicted in 9792 BC. Chapter 17 of the Book of the Dead gives detailed information about the events which took place in 9792 BC. Apart from the change in the Earth's poles, another theory for the event that took place is that the Earth changed its direction of rotation around the Sun, which caused Venus to retrograde through Orion too. Many modern scholars and astronomers have been looking into the old books and trying to predict if the event scheduled to happen again on December 21st or 22nd, 2012 will actually take place. Some scholars who have done extensive research on the matter have some to conclude that the positions of Orion and Aldebaran on December 21st, 2012 match the exact position that they had taken back in 9792 BC. In case the event that happened in 9792 BC will actually happen again in December 2012, mankind should take measures to ensure that safety is provided as much as possible to the living being on Earth. Researchers are trying to figure out ways that can help keep the human race going in case such a catastrophe does cease to exist in 2012. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and we're checking the ancient technology, and the digitals are moving. The switches are switching and the knobs are turning, ladies and gentlemen, and the ancient technology is working as it should. And now I will read some unknown prophecy unto you, ladies and gentlemen, and those of you who aren't ladies and gentlemen. As the prophecy states, there will be a person who will have a bag on his head and use ancient technology to wake the people up to the world around them, and will use prophecies of other peoples and cultures to explain the times they live in, and shake them and plead with all flesh to warn them to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. I'd like to encourage you to visit eternityjumper.com, a no buy, no sell, no advertising website that explores the creation, flood, and day of the Lord. I recommend taking a look at the page on the flood of Noah. Sometimes you have to get out of the box, ladies and gentlemen, and look at other views on Scripture, because obviously nobody has disappeared in a raptudo and probably never will. EternityJumper.com is a well thought out study guide that provides a serious guide that may open your eyes to the simpleness in Scripture that God has to offer. And now we will end with this question. For those of you who get your power from Satan, what are you going to do without your leader?